Thanksgiving is the best. It was my second favorite holiday growing up. Easter was my first. Still is, but Thanksgiving was a very close second. What's not to love about a holiday that centers around eating and giving thanks for all that we have, especially our loved ones? Our family had a unique tradition when we were growing up. We would all sit around the table together at dinner time. We said our Thanksgiving blessing. Then, before we ate, we joined hands with each other and said, "Is everybody happy?" as we raised our joined hands. Now that everybody had given thanks and was happy, it was time to feast. And feast we did. We would dig into a turkey that had been cooking all day, complete with gravy and stuffing. My Grandma Mary makes the most fantastic cranberry jelly concoction. It has grapes, oranges, and cranberries. It's like a dessert. My mom and my sister would make cranberry bread. Even my father loved preparing something for Thanksgiving. His dish was an exquisite salad made with an orange peel dressing. My job was cleaning up. As a grown-up, I am not a bad cook if I do say so myself. But back then, my interest was not in preparing food, more in eating the food that someone else prepared for me. Anyway, my job on Thanksgiving was to help set up and make sure that everything was ready for the feast. Every year, I would look forward to Thanksgiving. I looked forward to my role in fixing up the house and making sure everything was where it belonged, and that everyone had a place to sit while those who were acting as chefs got to work. As the day went on, the smell of the cooking turkey would waft through the house. I would practically be drooling by dinner time. I love the feasting. I mean, who doesn't love eating delicious food? And then, of course, after the feast, we would all settle into our tryptophan comas, perhaps watch some TV, and then go to sleep. And of course, the next few days were filled with all sorts of delicious creations made from the leftovers. I love seeing my family members who would come to celebrate and give thanks with us. I still love it all to this day. In truth, I am surprised that Thanksgiving is not my favorite holiday, because every Thanksgiving we were all giddy and happy at the end of the day. Every year, to this day, that is how it went. Except for the first year, when we had Thanksgiving with my grandparents in Costa Rica. I was 12 and had been looking forward to Thanksgiving since Easter. Summer had been great, and my school was going pretty well. I was looking forward to the holiday, and of course, the food. I came home from school with the knowledge that in a little over a month, Turkey Day would be upon us. My sister Ernesto was skipping around in a new pair of hiking sandals. That was odd. It was a little chilly outside for that. My mom and dad looked excited. Both were beaming from ear to ear. Something was up. "Jay, we're having Thanksgiving in Costa Rica," Ernesto cheered. "Sun, surfing, and Thanksgiving. Here we come." "Awesome," I also cheered. I couldn't wait. My sister couldn't have said it better. The only thing better than Thanksgiving would be Thanksgiving in Costa Rica with the sun, sand, and surfing, right? At this point, I had been to Costa Rica 3 times in my life, and to me, it was the most perfect place in the world. I spent the rest of the time before the holiday bragging to my friends about my upcoming holiday away from home. On the plane down, I imagined eating our Thanksgiving meal, looking out at the beach as the impossibly turquoise Caribbean shimmered under the sun. It would be like something on TV. And then we arrived. Everything was as beautiful as I remembered. Ernesto and I ran to hug and kiss our grandparents, who greeted us all with open arms. I noticed, as I always did, the door was open, as it always had been. Why have a door if you are never going to close it? Because then nobody would visit you. That is what my grandma told me when I asked her about it one day. Good point. Since Thanksgiving was on Thursday, we had a couple of days to recover from traveling. I spent those days hanging out with Ernesto and catching up with Louis and our other cousins and friends, who would most likely be stopping over and walking through my grandparents' perpetually open door. While our mom and grandma were shopping for our feast, my sister and I had fun outside surfing, hiking, and wildlife spotting. Ernesto was stoked because our abuela informed us that they were going to do all the cooking. The house was perpetually titty, so I didn't have anything to do either. Perfect Thanksgiving. Play Tuesday and Wednesday, feast on Thursday. Sounded like a perfect plan. When Thursday was upon us, I was filled with excitement. We were going to have our first Thanksgiving in Costa Rica. Since there was nothing for me to do, I went out surfing. When I returned to the house, the fragrances of turkey were filling the air in the house. I also noticed that there were quite a few people in my abuela's kitchen, including Louis. There were not just relatives, There were also neighbors and a few people I had never met. I wondered if everyone in Costa Rica were here. This was going to be a big deal. I had never seen so many people in one kitchen. Even Grandpa Ernesto was doing something.
Go out, enjoy the gorgeous day,
crowed Grandpa Ernesto.
We have it all under control here. We'll call you in when it's time to eat.
So, Ernesto and I went out on the beach with the other kids and had more fun. Best Thanksgiving ever, right? Around 3 o'clock, the call came.
Hora de comer,
called Grandpa Ernesto. That is Spanish for time to eat. We ran up to the patio where the 2 large tables had been set up, and people were already sitting down. Ernesto and I took our seats. The table looked beautiful with candles and tropical flowers scattered in vases all around. Louis loved putting flowers together, and he was great at that as he was at cooking and surfing. Our grandmother had put out her favorite fabric napkins, which were all different festive colors, and then I looked at the bowls of food places all over the tables. I observed a turkey, there was gravy, there was also lots of food that I didn't recognize. I didn't see cranberry jelly of any kind. There were a lot of bowls with sauces. There were several platters with different types of bread. There were bowls with odd foods that I could not identify. Well, at least I can have turkey and dessert, I thought. Mom and the other chefs moved around the tables, putting food on our plates. Daddy served the turkey. I looked at my plate, covered with the turkey, gravy, Louis's rice and beans. It's true, in Costa Rica, gallo pinto comes with everything. Some bizarre-looking creation, and Daddy's salad. While I love the food in Costa Rica, I had been envisioning a traditional Thanksgiving with traditional Thanksgiving food. I was feeling disappointed. Are we having dessert? I wondered. What sort of dessert would they have here that would be anything like pumpkin pie? Grandpa Ernesto said grace. Then we all joined hands and said, "Están todos felices." Is everybody happy? And then we dug in. Despite my initial apprehension and disappointment, I tasted everything and found it all delicious. The strange mush was picadillo de arcache, made from this odd root veggie that grows down here. By mixing it up with chorizo and bacon and a bunch of other stuff and served perfectly as stuffing. Maybe even better. Yes, I admit it, it was all delicious. The turkey was also fantastic. It was so fresh and the gravy was perfect. Everything I tasted demanded that I ate more. By the time I finished my 3rd helping, I wasn't even thinking of dessert. I was wondering how I would waddle up to bed or out to the beach. When dessert came, it did not disappoint at all. 2 of my grandmother's friends came out with a passion fruit pie. Passion fruit, or maracuja, in Latin America is my all-time favorite fruit. My appetite quickly returned at the sight of the dessert, surrounded by fresh fruits and flowers, and it was the most delicious pie I had ever had. As we ate our dessert, everyone took a turn to say what they were thankful for. As dinner finally wound down, it was starting to get dark. The kids, including me, hung out on the beach watching the waves. The grown-ups drank coffee and cleaned up. I felt the same happy, drowsy, food coma feeling that I had felt every Thanksgiving, and went to sleep early with a big smile on my face. That Thanksgiving stays in my memory as one of the best of all time. Part of it, of course, was the food and the environment. But the other part of it is that I learned a lot during that first Thanksgiving outside of the USA. I learned that the food was only a part of that holiday. The most important part of Thanksgiving is in the name. It is what we give thanks for. As I sat at that table with what seemed like 1 million family members, some of whom I never knew were relatives, and friends of my grandparents, I gave thanks for all the love around that table. The most important thing about Thanksgiving is that we are surrounded by the loved ones who we are so thankful for. Thanksgiving is a holiday that is simply for being grateful, loving, and sharing. I think that is why we feel so great at the end of every Thanksgiving, because we have spent the day surrounded by those who we love the most, and who love us the most, which feels lovely. I'm sure the tryptophan helps too. Hey, thank you for watching. Please click on the right to subscribe if you liked the video. And please don't forget to click on the bell icon when you subscribe so that you can be notified when we upload a new video. Watch more videos on the left, including our playlist. Thank you.